Stay tuned as we cover the latest in the Iran conflict, as a tense one-sided proposal leaves many questioning what comes next.
Also, the building of a new athletics facility is officially underway for a local high school.
And later, the effect of a high-profile lawsuit against the world's two biggest media and tech companies here on RMU Live.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to RMU Live.
Today is March 27th, and it's our first show back from spring break. I'm Cam Wickline.
And I'm Isabella Harris. We have breaking news this hour that the Senate has passed a bill to fund DHS except for ICE. The House GOP ended up rejecting the bill. Let's see what Speaker Mike Johnson has to say.
We just had a very fruitful, almost 2-hour conference call with all the House Republicans, and we have a united group. Let me just be completely unequivocal and put this out here in the open and in the beginning here to make clear the Republicans are not going to be any part of any effort to reopen our borders or to stop immigration enforcement.
Even though the bill hasn't passed, Trump signed an executive order earlier today to ensure all TSA workers are paid.
Our other big story today is the ongoing conflict in Iran. It's nearing the 1-month mark. While there is no official end to the hostilities yet, both sides have began processes of coming to a peace agreement. With more is President Trump.
They are begging to make a deal, not me. They're begging to make a deal. They are begging to work out a deal. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I don't know if we're willing to do that. They should have done that 4 weeks ago. They should have done it 2 years ago. Or they should have done it when we first came into office.
The United States sent a 15-point peace agreement to Iran on Wednesday via Pakistani intermediaries. Iran denied the agreement and remained skeptical of the U.S. military, as they have attacked Iran during 2 peace talks. President Trump set a deadline for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, which has been moved back by strikes by the Israeli forces of the Iranian capital of Tehran.
Americans continue to feel the effects of the conflict, and unrest is beginning to rise. Wall Street is not in a good spot today, as the Dow has fallen 700 points. Many Americans are disillusioned by the hostilities, according to the polls. 59% believe action in Iran has been excessive, and 45% said they are extremely or very worried about affording gas in the upcoming months.
Hackers connected to Iranian government have been accessed by FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email. The hackers have reportedly posted pictures from before Patel's time as FBI Director. The stolen emails appear to be from 2021 and 2022. They include personal business and travel correspondence. The FBI did announce that no government information was obtained.
With his moves in the last couple of weeks, including the war in Iran and the resulting economic impacts on Americans, President Trump's polls have taken a hit. For more, here's Josh Woodman.
Thanks, guys. I'm back to delve more into President Trump's approval ratings. These polls, conducted by Nate Silver and the Silver Bulletin, were updated Wednesday and reflect the recent negative publicity surrounding the 43rd and 5th president. Issues covered are ones Americans faced every day, such as trade, cost of living, and immigration. But we'll start with the president's ratings himself. Trump is now 431 days into his second term. Having been inaugurated a little over a year ago, the president now sits at a record high in disapproval rate and record low in net approval. Since taking office again, Trump sits at a high of 56% disapproval, while his net rating of -16 is the lowest we have seen both this term and last. While Trump himself has fluctuated in popularity, some of his policies have been consistent in their views. Since the new year, those numbers have also dipped, for example, immigration. Currently, President Trump sits at 53.2 disapproval rate compared to a 43.4 approval rate. These numbers come following Trump's commitment to place ICE agents throughout airports across the country following their departure from Minnesota last month. These numbers are a slight improvement since Trump's 55% disapproval rate from earlier this month. Now to the cost of living, where President Trump continues to sit at one of his highest levels of disapproval since he began his second term. Currently, the president sits at a 64% disapproval compared to a 31% approval rate. The numbers are record lows for Trump since he took office again, and the highest since November and February. Trump's promise to make America affordable again has long been criticized by Democratic leaders, and it now seems voters view this as an important issue to fix in the upcoming midterms. To move to the economy as a whole, where 59% of Americans don't approve of how the president has handled it. Trump has long time publicly attacked current Fed Chair Jerome Powell, and in the midst of his feud and legal battle, Trump has seen his rates reach new lows. The 59% is the highest since before Christmas for the president, while his approval rates have hit new low for the first time since January. To look at these numbers together, we'll shift to the net ratings, where you see dips across recent months. While immigration has plateaued slightly, citizens still have a negative view of the president's actions, sitting at a negative 9.6%. Other issues like trade and economy have also seen slight dips, both sitting at negative 20 and 21 respectively. Yet the president's inflation rating continues its steep slope, sitting at negative 32%, the lowest since December 7th of last year. With the midterms approaching rapidly and historic wins from Democrats in certain areas already, it's clear that President Trump has a growing problem on his hands and could be looking at losses in both the House and Senate, which are, of course, controlled by the Republicans currently. I'll send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Josh. We'll be sure to keep an eye out for the Trump administration's next moves over the coming weeks.
The U.S. Army is expanding who can enlist, raising the maximum age from 35 to 42. As well as additionally easing the rules around past marijuana-related offenses. Officials say recruits with a single marijuana-related conviction will no longer need a waiver to join. The changes are a part of a broader effort to boost the recruitment after the Army has struggled to meet its goals in recruitment in the recent years. Pittsburgh City Council will be looking into legislation banning cooperation with immigrations and customs enforcement. Said legislation would prevent Pittsburgh police from aiding ICE in raids, as well as banning them from non-public sections of public safe areas, such as city parks. Mayor Corey O'Connor has relayed that the sentiment of the chief of police, as well as the city council, is against the cooperation. That is the measure to codify into the law. City Council Maker Barb Warwick said, quote, "It's time for the council to put it in stone," end quote.
In a landmark decision, a California jury has found Meta and YouTube liable for contributing to social media addiction in young users. The case is centered on a woman who said she became addicted to the platforms as a child, leading to serious mental health issues. Jurors determined the companies knowingly designed features like infinite scrolling and autoplay to keep the users engaged. These features come without proper warning about the risks. The plaintiff was awarded around $6 million in damages, with Meta being largely responsible. Legal experts say the ruling could impact thousands of similar lawsuits and mark a major shift in holding technology companies accountable. Both companies said they plan to appeal.
King Charles of the United Kingdom is set to speak before Congress next month, marking the first time a British royal has spoken to the body since Queen Elizabeth II in 1991. While no topic of the speech is unknown, some speculate that the king's visit is largely centered around the ongoing conflict in Iran. President Trump himself has attempted to grow closer with the royal family as attended a lavish party hosted by the King Charles in September of last year, as well as showing favor to dealing with Charles over British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. As the president has consistently lambasted the Labour Party leader since taking office, the speech will take place on a date in April yet to be announced.
It seems like seasons are changing every day here in Western PA, from needing shorts and a t-shirt to winter coats and hats and all the rain and snow in between. Owen McLaren has it coming for the week up ahead.
Thanks, guys. As you can see, the high today is 46 and a low of 23. We have a relatively good humidity at 50% and virtually no chance of precipitation today. And as you may notice, it is very cold, and that is because of a cold front we had last night that brought thunderstorms and rain across the Pittsburgh area. And due to that rain, Pittsburgh now has the wettest March in history for 2026, and the previous record was back in 1967 with 6.1 inches. Now, we won't get any rain today because of the hourly forecast tonight, which is going to go down to the 30s tonight. And as we look for tomorrow's forecast, it is going to be even colder at 42, low of 30. Still no chance of precipitation and a lower humidity. Later, I'll have the 5-day forecast on when you can expect more rain next week. Send it back over to you guys.
Thanks, Owen. As much as we may not want to yet, I think we should not put away our winter coats just quite yet.
After this, a professional quadriplegic cornhole player is now facing multiple felony charges after a horrific casualty event.
Stay tuned for the latest updates on Moon School District's brand new project.
And how are you aware about the extra toll that epilepsy takes on women?
The death of George Floyd, who died in police custody Monday night.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, you know, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change, because it just can't be us.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to RMU Live.
A Maryland cornhole champion was arrested for murder this week following a 3-day manhunt. The man, Dayton Weber, who is a quadruple amputee, allegedly shot and killed 27-year-old Dayton Wells after a heated argument between the two. Witnesses say Weber asked them to help dispose of Wells' body before he dumped it and drove off. Weber is currently held in Clark County Jail on charges of use of a firearm and the commission of a felony, 2 counts of first-degree assault, and first and second-degree murder.
Moon Area School District has broken ground for their new athletic facility on their junior and senior campus. Reporter Nick Evans is on the scene with more.
Thanks, guys. I am here on Moon's junior and senior high campus, and you can see behind me the ground has been broken on a brand new athletic facility. The district held the ceremonial groundbreaking here earlier this month on March 10th. The district said the construction of this 50,000 square foot facility will feature an indoor turf field, a walking track, a weight room, simulator room, locker room and trainer room, boardroom, and concession stands, as well as upgrades to their press box. But this multi-million-dollar project comes less than 2 years after the Moon School District decided to close one of its 5 elementary schools, Hyde Elementary. Back in 2024, the school board cited financial reasons and underperforming test scores as the reason to close the neighborhood school. The decision was met with major backlash, as Hyde Elementary was known as an English as a second language school, and many families worried about how transportation would work. It was a close 5-4 vote in favor of the closing that was followed by a large pushback. 43% of Hyde students were economically disadvantaged, while 14% of students were special education. Now, that school will be used to house lockers and weight rooms for athletes while the new facility is being constructed. While no noise has been made yet, there's certainly questions to be asked of the timing for this closure and the plans for a new $3.5 million facility. Moon now has 4 elementary schools in session. All teams will need to find new locations for the 2026-2027 seasons, and this project is expected to be completed in August of 2027. Nick Evans reporting for RMU Live.
Thanks, Nick. Hopefully we'll see some progress beginning with the facility this spring if the weather slowly creeps in. Following up on a story we discussed several weeks ago, Arts Landing, a new $30 million 4-acre park and concert venue, as well as a renovation to the historic Market Square, are scheduled to be completed by the NFL Draft. The creation of Arts Landing and the beautification of Market Square have been at the top of the priority list for the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, and they are both being completed on schedule. CEO of the partnership, Jeremy Waldrop, said, quote, "This is kind of like the night before the big party, where everything is a little bit chaotic, but it ends up coming together," end quote. While this space might not see the most traffic during the draft, both spaces' activities are expected to pick up in the heading into summer.
Students in Pittsburgh Public Schools will switch to remote learning for 3 days as the city prepares to host the 2026 NFL Draft. Classes will be held online from April 22nd through the 24th due to several expected road closures, heavy traffic, and hundreds of thousands of visitors. District leaders say the move will help minimize disruptions while allowing students to continue learning during one of the city's largest events. Pittsburgh Public Schools are cautioning parents about Downtown Takeover, an event that has been circulating around social media over the past week. The event is aimed at young people, attempting to gather them in downtown Pittsburgh on Friday. This event comes after several juveniles were pepper sprayed following an altercation with police in Market Square. PPS said of the event, quote, "This event is not sanctioned, not supervised, and poses serious safety concerns for our students," end quote. While there are no threats or indications of illegal activity at the event have happened, officials will still recommend stressing school attendance to children.
2 Pennsylvania teens have been sentenced to probation after using artificial intelligence to create fake nude images of their classmates. Investigators say the images were made by using photos taken from various social media accounts, and this incident is affecting dozens of underage victims at the Lancaster school. Several victims shared their emotional impact, including anxiety and fear that the images could resurface. The judge called the case serious, noting the consequences could have been much worse and severe if the teens were adults. Yesterday was Purple Day, which is a time to raise awareness for epilepsy. More than 1 million U.S. women of childbearing age are living with this neurological condition.
And experts say they face hidden health risks because of it. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains the extra toll epilepsy takes on young women.
It's a disorder of the brain that can cause unprovoked and unpredictable seizures.
Patients with epilepsy will say that that's one of the worst things about their epilepsy. They never know when it's going to come.
Dr. Danielle Becker with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says epilepsy takes an extra toll on women and girls throughout their lives. Things like puberty, menstruation, pregnancy, post-pregnancy, and menopause can all lead to hormone fluctuations that may impact seizure severity, but she says treatments can help.
So even if we can't stop your seizures, but we know they're going to come around this time of month, the moment that you feel something, you would take this rescue medication to try to shut it down and also prevent it from occurring.
Becker says epilepsy and medications taken for it can also put bone health at risk, lead to birth control failure, and pregnancy complications. But she says with the care of a doctor or specialist, complications are rare.
As I have had patients come to my office and tell me that they were told that because they have epilepsy, they can't have a baby. And that is not true. And many, many patients with epilepsy have normal, healthy babies.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Becker says there are guidelines put out by major epilepsy health organizations that help guide treatment and provide reminders to talk to patients about the impact that anti-seizure medication can have on birth control and pregnancy complications.
She says women of childbearing age should be on folic acid and have their vitamin D levels monitored, as well as bone density scans, because she says that the right treatment will vary from patient to patient.
Still ahead, a historic start to the season for the RMU softball team as they show no signs of slowing down heading into their next games.
Also, the return of a beloved Pittsburgh team as they get ready to play following an impressive preseason.
And towards the end of a tight game, the Pens entered a tense shootout, but did they win? Find out more after this.
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are. Max loves to do backflips. Max loves to play his ukulele. Max loves to just be a kid and just be himself. When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy, whole child. And that's what I got. I think it's really important for people to know that trans kids don't have a political agenda. They are just kids. Like any parent, we love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them. Stand with us. Protect our families.
Wait! Not in the toilet!
No, don't do that. No.
Don't hit your brother! Oh!
Not again!
What did I tell you about playing in the mud?
Raffy, not so close to the pool! Wait!
Frankie! Tabby? What are you doing? We told you never to touch the gun!
I'm sorry, I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
You could have hurt yourself!
Safely store your guns. Unload, lock, and away from ammo.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Before we get to our weekly sports report, we have some breaking news.
It is just now being reported that golf legend Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover crash in Florida. This story is still ongoing.
With opening day on Thursday, spring sports are underway here at Bobby Moe and across Pittsburgh. With more on everything sports from around town, here's Joey Dramasic.
Hello everyone, I'm Joey Dramasic here to give you your weekly sports report. There's a lot to go over and cover today, so let's get right into it. Starting off with the hottest bats in the Horizon League, the RMU softball team is off to a historic start to start their season. This following weekend, the Colonials took down the Green Bay Phoenix in a 3-game series sweep, with Game 2 ending in a run rule 13-5 win for the Colonials. The Colonials are 15-6 on the season with another Horizon League weekend series on the horizon as they take on Oakland. Due to the weather, the weekend series will be played tomorrow with a game at 4 p.m. and on Sunday with games at noon and 2:30. All games will be played in Rochester, Michigan. Let's start over to a team who are struggling to find their footing with the women's lacrosse team. On Tuesday, the Colonials traveled to South Bend, Indiana to take on Notre Dame, and once again, they are on the wrong side of the score sheet, falling 20-2. Their loss drops their season record to 3-7. They have a chance to get back in the win column with a date with the newest member of MAC lacrosse, UMass. The game is scheduled to start at noon in Moon Township as the first of a lacrosse doubleheader. The second game of the doubleheader is the men's lacrosse team, who is coming off of a thrilling win over Cleveland State last Saturday. The 11-6 win extends their winning streak to 6 games and a 7-3 record overall. Tomorrow, the Colonials take on Lemoyne. Scheduled start time is at 3 p.m. at the Joe Walton Stadium. Let's head over to the track and field team. This weekend marks their start of the spring season, and to kick things off, they are taking part in the Carnegie Mellon Invitational. Invitational started today at 2 p.m. and concludes tomorrow. Now over to the green with the RMU men's golf team. The Colonials will be in action next Monday and Tuesday at the Don Benbow Butler Spring Invitational in Indianapolis, Indiana. They will be looking to shake off their rust from their last event when they finished 9th out of 12 teams, finishing with a +40 score. Moving back over to the diamond, but now with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are back. Opening day for the Buccos was yesterday, and the game did not go the Buccos' way. After giving up 5 runs in the first inning and ace Paul Skeens was taken out without completing the opening inning, the Pirates were dropped Game 1 11-7 to the New York Mets. Don't fret if you're a Pirates fan, however, it is only Game 1 out of 162, and be hopeful that O'Neill Cruz will be able to track down balls in the outfield as the season progresses. The Pirates return tomorrow versus the Mets in New York. Scheduled start time for first pitch is at 4:10. Heading inside to the ice with the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are coming off a shootout win. Last night, the Pens took down the Ottawa Senators 4-3. The Pens moved to a record of 36, 20, and 16 on the season, and currently sit in a tight race for the Metropolitan at second currently with 88 points, only one above the Blue Jackets and the Islanders. The Pens will be back on the ice tomorrow versus the Dallas Stars at PPG Paints Arena. Puck drop is set for 5 p.m. Ending things up here in the association with some exciting news regarding league expansion. On Wednesday, the league's Board of Governors announced that it has approved to, end quote, explore bids and applicants, end quote, for team expansion. The 2 cities that will be focused on is Seattle and Las Vegas. In order for teams to be introduced to the league, there will need to be a vote with at least 23 of the 30 governors from each team. Nothing is set in stone about the NBA expanding to Seattle and Vegas, but this is a step in the right direction to bring professional basketball back to Seattle, and for the first time in league history, being in Vegas. Well, that's all I have for you this week for your weekly sports report. Reporting for RMU Live, I'm George Ramasic. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Joey. With springtime in the air, I could not be more excited about Buccos baseball.
Here on RMU-TV, we do more than just bring you the latest news every Friday at 4 p.m.
During the spring semester, we have RMU Focus on Mondays at 3 p.m., Sports Talk in the Berg on Wednesdays at 5:15, and Colonial Sports Center at 9:30 every Thursday night, so be sure to tune in.
After this, the major decision in a prominent courtroom battle for the fight over social media's impact and what this can mean going forward.
As well as the return to Middle Earth, as a famous TV personality begins the writing process to add to a classic movie trilogy.
And how this upcoming week's weather will be looking as we get closer to another month of 2026. So don't go anywhere.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome back to RMU Live.
Here on campus, spring break was full of contradicting weather and wild thunderstorms. You know, your regular Pittsburgh weather.
That's right. And with April approaching, let's go ahead and send it back over to Owen to see if we'll be getting a warmer and drier welcome from the new month.
Thanks, guys. And as you can see, tons of rain and clouds in the 5 days for this week. Although the temps are going to rise up to 77 on Tuesday and 65 on Wednesday, that still is going to drag out with the rain, and expect a lot of wind as well, especially on Tuesday with winds of gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Now, there might be a break on Monday with some sun. Showers might be in the afternoon, but expect the heaviest rainfall here on Wednesday and Thursday with possibly up to 2 inches of rain. But hopefully, as the saying goes, April showers bring May flowers. Let's hope that's the case. I will send it back over to you guys.
Thanks, Owen. Looks like April's not waiting anymore to get a head start on the rain.
Yeah, with this weather, the expression April showers bring May flowers really seems to be bringing some truth.
Popular late-night host Stephen Colbert is set to co-write a new Lord of the Rings film with his son. Warner Brothers says the movie titled The Lord of the Rings: Shadow of the Past will be developed alongside original trilogy writer Philippa Boyens. The film is expected to follow new adventures involving familiar characters like Sam, Merry, and Pippin, set years after the original story. Colbert, a longtime fan of the series, says the idea came from unexplored parts of the original books. The project comes as Colbert prepares to end his run on his late-night show, marketing a major career shift in the film writing company.
Isabella, with all the warm weather, you excited to watch some of these this RMU softball team like Joey talked about, or just get out there and, I don't know, maybe try and soak up something before the rain hits too much?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully get to a Bucks game.
Yeah.
I usually like watching them even though they're not that good. But
yeah, I think this might be the year, though, Isabella.
Hopefully. Thanks for watching RMU Live.
And make sure to tune in next week when we're back at 4 o'clock here on RMU Live.